Welcome back, Tiger family. I'm excited to get this school year started. I'm Mrs. Peachy. Welcome. This will be your son or daughter's first assignment. Who are you? Who? Google slide creation about themselves. Sorry if that song is stuck in your head the rest of the day. Here are the instructions which they can read when they get in to do the assignment. And this is something like what their slide will look like. This is my slide. It took me about 15 or 20 minutes to create, and I had a lot of fun doing it. I hope your son or daughter does also. Probably the first thing I noticed when I look at this is I put a lot of food on here. It must have been near lunchtime when I was doing this. But I'm not going to deny, I do like to eat. Also, you will notice some St. Louis themed items on here. I was born and raised in St. Louis, lived there until 2006 when I moved here with my husband for a job transfer. I attended University of Missouri St. Louis and obtained a Bachelor of Arts in Chemistry and a Bachelor of Science in Education, and then I went to Webster University in St. Louis and earned my Master's in Education. Also, you might notice there are a few board games here. Did you notice? These are not your typical board games like Sorry or Monopoly. Those games are great, but I like to play different kinds of games that most people know about. Space Base in the upper right-hand corner, Machi Koro right in the middle, and in the lower left-hand corner, Dominion for games. It will look like. Notice that there are 8 buttons right here. These are connected to items below, so you could choose to use the button or to come down and click on the links and folders. When your son or daughter arrives to class, whether in person or virtual, I will ask them to do 2 things. Check the daily agenda and the ongoing updates and announcements. It is expected they check these 2 items every school day. First, let's look at the daily agenda. This is an example of what the daily agenda will look like. Notice you have the day, the date, all the items that we'll do in the given day, and where or how you can find them. Eventually, things will be linked so that you can access them directly into Schoology, our website, or other sources. This first tab, AS Chemistry Agenda, will house the entire year. Then I will add months as we go along so that you can access things quicker that are more recent to you. Next, let's look at the ongoing updates and announcements button. Here I will house any announcements that I need to make or things I need to tell you about coming up. Just the sort of daily reminders. Course resources will be under this button. This will house the start of the year items, and access to your chemistry book, success reminders, and a reminder about the retake policy. Here we have LSR7 technology resources. This houses some things that sort of are district-wide, help for parents and students, for some troubleshooting for technology and some technology needs. Below you will see all the unit buttons for the different units that we'll cover in this semester. Remember, if you don't want to use the buttons, you can always access things by looking at the folders or links below. I would like to point out one particular thing in the course resources for the start of this school year. In the start of the year, under the course resources folder, you will find the following: a copy of the course syllabus, and then this is the part I really want to point out, a place for you and your son or daughter to acknowledge that you have read through the course syllabus. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. I would like to also point out one more place in the course resources that you might find useful to start the school year and throughout the school year, and that's the technology tools. This will be tools I put in that I think will help your son or daughter navigate things that we're doing in class via technology. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. To wrap things up, I'd like to talk about some key pieces for you to know as we begin this school year. Sort of those back-to-school pieces that I would mention if we were able to meet in person. It is expected that your son or daughter check in each and every day, including on Wednesdays, by looking at the daily agenda and or the ongoing updates and announcements. This would be true whether we're seated or completely virtual. These are some of the supplies that they will need throughout the year. Some way of organizing their items, if they have any paper items, something to write on, notebook paper, something to write with, a scientific calculator. I will speak about this in detail in just a few minutes. This item here, unit packet, will be a little bit trickier than normal, meaning that I haven't gotten to see your son or daughter yet. I look forward to seeing them and cannot wait to be in person with them. In the meantime, the unit packet will be pushed out electronically, which we may do throughout the semester, a little bit of both paper and electronic. I'd encourage your son or daughter to have earbuds and headphones, and of course the ability to access their textbook online. If your son or daughter prefers to have a textbook hard copy, they will be able to do that with me when we meet up. Electronic devices. As you know, a cell phone and even a smartwatch can be very distracting. When we're in the middle of learning something new or working on a skill that they're struggling with, I highly encourage them to take their cell phones, put them screen face down, and put them on silent mode. When we are seated, the policy will be as it is described here. Electronic devices, to include but not limited to cell phones, Chromebooks, and tablets, will need permission each and every time from each and every student to use them during class. Electronic devices and earbuds should not be out or used during class unless given permission. I expect them to be in a zippered pocket when we are seated in class. If your son or daughter is absent from class, it is their responsibility to reach out to me and get things made up. They can check Schoology, the daily agenda, or reach out to me for any questions they may have about getting caught up. I am very willing to be flexible and allow them some grace, as I know they have missed several classes, usually when they are absent. Just encourage them to reach out with a plan, and I am willing to help. Makeup work or help sessions. Again, because of the unique school year that we are having, things will be slightly different depending if we're on hybrid or if we're virtual. So, you can come in after school when we're hybrid on the day that you attend school, either Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday, Friday from 2:30 to 3:30 in room A129 to get help. Or you can get into a virtual Google Meet and get help that way. On Wednesdays, you will be able to get on Google Meet between 10 a.m. and noon to get any tutoring or help or ask questions or anything like that. You will go to Google Meet and use the nickname Peachy Open Tutoring. Please be advised that this session is open to all. So if you come in and you hear a conversation going on, just be polite and wait patiently, and I will get to you as soon as I possibly can. Academic assessment. How are you going to earn a grade in this course? IS chemistry grades are made up of coursework and a semester final exam. Coursework is 90%. It is considered the A1 or A2 category in PowerSchool. It is broken down into two pieces: assessments and projects, and learning activities. Assessments and projects will include quizzes, formative assessment, summative big unit test assessments, projects, and possibly some labs. Learning activities would be your homework, your class practice, and labs. And it is 40%. Then you have 10%, that is your Z column, and it is your final exam, which is 100% of the 10%. Just a reminder about what is considered mastery, nearing mastery, and not mastery. Turning in assignments. I do not accept late work. All work is due on the due date. If something is an electronic submission, it is expected to be turned at 11:59 p.m. on the due date unless otherwise stated. In this class, learning is the ultimate goal. I want them to feel and see success. I am here to help them. They just need to reach out. However, they do have the opportunity to do some retakes. They can retake formative assessments and quizzes up to 2 additional times, for a total of 3 attempts. But it must be completed before the end of the unit or summative assessment or the deadline that I give. And often, additional practice is required. And of course, they can come in for extra help, either virtually or in person, to get that help. As far as summative assessments, the big test, if a student has earned 80% or lower, they will be given the opportunity to do a second retake. The following guidelines are in place. If the student does the retake and they score higher, we will give them the full score of that grade. However, if your son or daughter does a retake and they score a lower score, we will average the 2 attempts. In order to do a retake, though, the following must be in place. They need to come in for some tutoring, 2 times, maybe more. In person is preferred when possible. Complete test corrections. Have completed notes from the unit of study. complete any additional practice that I see fit, or they may see they need to do. Have all required assignments completed. So yes, I said they don't turn in things late, but in order to do a retake, they're going to have to catch up on those items that they skipped. No points will be earned, but that is the piece that must be completed in order to do a retake. And if there is a study guide provided, they will need to complete the study guide. Calculators. So, yes, your son or daughter needs a physical calculator. Sure, the electronic online calculators are great, but they will need a physical calculator to use during a test or a quiz when we are seated. Scientific or graphing calculators are fine, I don't care which one. They will not be allowed to use their cell phones or Chromebooks, that's calculators, in most situations. This is the calculator I would suggest. It's a TI-30X IIS. You can get these in all kinds of colors. It is the most simplest to use and the most frequently used by students here at Lee Summit High School. However, don't feel like you have to rush out and buy this calculator. Any scientific or graphing calculator should suffice. If you're unsure, take a picture of it and email it to me, and I will let you know. In closing, I would just like to say a few things. First, we are in uncharted waters, but together we can steer the ship in the right direction. We got this, Tigers. I am looking forward to a fantastic school year and cannot wait to meet your children in person. Don't forget, it's a great day to be a Chem Tiger.